1, 2, 1, 2. Don't stop your dreaming. Let yourself float upon an ocean. We can work it out. We can work it out.
When you say you don't push the sort of the health risks, everybody knows the health risks, but I remember just before Christmas there was a health survey out with horrific figures about obesity, but every GP that came in here to talk to us said the biggest killer in this country is still going to be smoking.
Smoking, yeah.
So
yeah.
What do we do? What do we do about it?
We've got to educate. You see, it's a most clever, sinister trap, and children are still falling into it. We can't even stop it. You've only got to walk outside a school at closing time, and you'll see young girls, puffing away as if it's the greatest thing in the world. We need to educate them. See, if you could explain to a mouse that if it touched that piece of cheese, it's had it, it wouldn't do that. If you could explain the trap so that youngsters know that doesn't relax them or do this, that all it does is when nicotine leaves your body, it creates this empty, insecure feeling, I want a cigarette.
So is nicotine addictive or not?
Oh, look, people think, if you just think 100 years ago, if we had television, we'd be saying, why do people sniff dried tobacco up their nose? Now, why do cocaine sniffers? Not because they enjoy sniffing, it's to get the drug. That is just drug addiction. And the stupid thing is now, the medical profession recommends, prescribes addiction to cure drug addiction, the same drug that the person's addicted to. It just keeps them craving nicotine, which keeps their brains saying, I wish I could have a cigarette.
So you think it's a bad idea to have these nicotine patches? They don't work?
It's the same thing.
Would you agree with that, Sarah?
No, we disagree with that. There's been many studies that show that nicotine replacement therapies are extremely effective. They're much more effective than just using willpower or going cold turkey. And if you use nicotine replacement therapies in conjunction with support, you're much more likely to succeed in your chance of success. Nicotine replacement therapies in terms of patches and gums and inhalers and all those sorts of things are a controlled dose of nicotine. So it's a much smaller dose of nicotine over a longer period of time, so it helps people break their cycle of addiction and get them off nicotine. It's a well-proven method.
It's not nicotine replacement therapy, it's nicotine maintenance. You're actually giving them nicotine, the drug they're addicted to, and that keeps their body craving nicotine. It's absolute nonsense.
You are giving them nicotine, but it's stepping them down gradually so that they can come off it.
Can you tell me the proved rates of success on nicotine replacement?
It's much greater than willpower alone.
That's what the adverts say. It's 4 times greater. 4 times greater than what?
4 times greater than just using willpower alone.
But willpower doesn't work.
No,
so it's
it
4 times greater than nothing.
Well, and if you can quit, then that's going to be much better for your health than if you don't quit.
I keep records, and we give a money-back guarantee. We get over 90% success rate. We've tried to find from the nicotine manufacturers or the nicotine replacement manufacturers, they couldn't even give us their rates. And they refer to these so-called scientific studies, but it's common sense. How do you get somebody off a drug by giving them the drug they're hooked on?
Isn't it partly about breaking habits and that physical comfort of having a cigarette in your hand?
Look, the habit doesn't exist. If you go onto the States or onto Europe, you spend all your life driving on the left, you immediately go to the right because you want to break that habit. The point is, although part of everybody's smoker's brain wants to quit, every smoker wants to go on smoking, otherwise they wouldn't do it. And what you've got to do is not tell them why they've got to quit or want to quit. They know that already. That's why they try to. What you've got to do is to remove these illusions that they get some crutch or benefit, the illusion that nicotine replacement will help them, and the illusion that they're giving anything up.
Can I talk to you about willpower? Because every day this week at 9:30 we're going to be talking about a different resolution, whether it's getting to the gym, losing weight, or smoking today. If willpower doesn't work for smoking, does it mean it doesn't work for anything?
No. You have to be strong-willed to learn to smoke. I mean, were you ever a smoker? Or?
Not really, no.
No. Well, anybody that's tried to smoke as a youngster, it makes you feel sick. This is a powerful poison. It makes you cough and splutter. It takes a lot of willpower to actually learn to become a smoker. Now, I don't want to appear boastful or arrogant, but I know from other parts of my life that I was a very strong-willed person. Nobody could make me do something I didn't want to do. The one thing I couldn't control was smoking.
We're going to come back.
Very quickly, you were talking about willpower. What's your summation of that?
Well, quickly, smokers arrive at our clinics expecting to hear horror stories, expecting to be miserable and find it difficult. They leave, once you remove the desire to smoke, you have no need to smoke. It's the complete opposite. Your desire is, gosh, isn't it lovely? I don't need to smoke. They leave 4 hours later, already happy non-smokers.
Sarah Ward, Alan Carr was talking a little bit earlier about seeing kids outside schools smoking and no doubt finding it disgusting. But half the problem is that it's mad, bad and dangerous, isn't it? How do you stop making smoking uncool, cool rather? One of the reasons it's seen by kids to be cool is because it's bad for you.
Yes, I think we have to denormalise smoking. So we need to remember that 75% of the population actually don't smoke. And it's important that kids know that most people don't actually smoke. So it's public awareness and education as well as smoke-free places. Smoke-free places really do help and create this culture that smoking is not a normal behaviour.
But how does that tackle kids smoking?
Because then they learn that basically smoking is not something that everybody does and that it's not a glamorous activity, and so that they're not likely to take it up. So it's all those approaches working together that help reduce smoking.
Well, the fact is they're still doing it. It hasn't worked.
How do you tackle young people though if there is that glamour factor?
By explaining the trap, explaining that even though that first one tastes horrible, if they take the second one, they're already hooked.
I have to say we've had lots and lots of emails coming in, actually prompted by lots of things you're saying. Best thing I ever did was to read Alan Carr's book. Another one saying you're speaking claptrap. He's been a smoker for 55 years or something, whatever.
Oh, this will be someone from the tobacco industry.
Well,
you always get those ringing up, telling you how lovely it is.
If somebody's been watching you for half an hour, they want to put their last fag out in 5 minutes' time, how should they feel when they do that?
They should put it not, I mustn't smoke anymore, isn't it lovely, I'm free. Now, for a few days, there will be a feeling of I want a cigarette. Now, that is actually physical, just like a hunger for food. There's no pain, but it's just this feeling. And that's all that ever keeps them smoking. That panic feeling when they run out or get low on cigarettes, that is that saying smoke. Now, once you understand it and get that feeling, instead of, oh, I can't have one, this is what smokers suffer, and realise every smoker on the planet wants to be free. You're missing out.
Alan Carr, Sarah Ward.
Stop your dreaming, let yourself float upon an ocean.